should be live. I'm pretty sure I'm live now. All right, so you're here to convert me. You want to make me a vegan?
Hang on. Let me. There we go. I changed over, and now they can see and hear us too. I specifically don't want to convert you. What I want to do is make sure that you understand what veganism. Well, specifically, the people you talked to were claiming themselves to be ethical vegans, and I want you to just understand what that actually means. And so what's important to me is that you talk to a lot of people, and I think that you're going to continue to grow and do well. And my concern is that when you run into a vegan, you're going to roll your eyes and go, look, I've already talked to some fucking retards. I know what it's all about, and it's fucking stupid. Okay, and they were some of the worst representatives I've ever seen. So I am vegan, yeah.
All right.
Yep.
I feel like a lot of people. Okay, there's a couple of reasons to be a vegan, but there's also a couple of reasons to want to debate people about veganism online, or even in your real life. You know, like just like fighting with people at fucking Thanksgiving and shit. And I think
I don't do that either.
One of those reasons is because veganism is like, well, you think that suffering's bad, right? And you're against discrimination, and you believe all these things, but guess what? You eat meat, so fuck you. You're a piece of shit, and you didn't even know it, but you've been a piece of shit for your whole life, and you didn't even fucking. So why don't you fucking like change your ways? If you want to prove that you're not a piece of shit, well, this is what you can do. And so it's like a really great way to like get a massive dunk on someone and make you feel really superior. I also think that vegans, they either hate themselves, or they hate humanity, or they hate other people. So one of the reasons you might do that to someone is because you hate yourself. Like, you know, like say being a humiliating like rage clown, you know, it like you want to humiliate yourself, you want to humiliate the other person, or you just want to take it out on everybody. You know what I mean? That's what I think.
I understand the idea. So I don't do any of those things. In fact, I'm really hesitant to approach bringing up that I'm vegan in public. So like whenever I start a new job, I'm always like, okay, we're going to do everything we can to avoid people finding out for as long as possible, because I don't want to start a conversation about it at work. And on my second to last job, the very first day, the boss was like, hey, we got a new employee. He introduced me to everybody. Goes, lunch is on me, you guys. They're like, where do we want to go? And they decided to go to a steakhouse. And I'm like, this fucking sucks. I was like, you know what? I really appreciate it. I brought my own food. They're like, no. I was like, all right, I'm going to be weird if I don't say it. So now I just have to tell them. And it was no big deal. And somebody made like a comment, and then somebody else told them to like, shut up. And I was like, oh, okay, this place isn't going to be all weird at me. And it wasn't weird, but I'm always afraid of it being weird. I don't think, unless somebody approaches me about it, I don't think it's possible to get them to be vegan. And I have a general opinion that most people are essentially indoctrinated against it. Like your whole life, you're kind of taught to do one thing, and so I don't think that I'm going to be the person to change that.
Do you want to change people?
Looking to change. I wish people would change, but I don't necessarily want to be the catalyst which causes them to change. I don't want to try to be, because it's a very difficult thing to do, and if you do it wrong, you leave a lasting negative effect that hurts the cause.
So you want to let someone really articulate or bet? You want to let the more manipulative vegan convert people?
No, so I don't think it works where you can just talk to somebody and have them change their mind. Even for me, it was a slow process. First, I stopped eating pigs because I found out how emotionally intelligent pigs were. I read this article that pigs can like play video games. That they're like 4-year-old child like mentality. And then I also found out that well, I'm just saying, like, this is the process that happened to me. It wasn't somebody talking to me or converting me. I like the idea of putting really good ideas out there and letting those sit with people. And I think that people that end up being vegan will hear some things and go, well, that's wrong, and look it up, maybe find out that it's right and find other things. Or they're like, that's kind of interesting, and look into things, and they'll slowly come to that determination themselves. I feel like it's probably one of the hardest things to like brute force somebody into. It's if I was trying to convert people, I think they would rightfully feel like I'm like a Christian knocking on their door going, hey, have you heard the good word?
Hold on. When you were messaging me, you said, well, I think you already do believe in these things. And then
I think you agree with a lot of these things.
And then you sent me a video, and oh my God, I was not happy with that fucking video. Okay, that has tainted my expectations for this conversation. Because like it was one of those fucking videos. There's like some professor and he's saying like how horrible we are to animals and stuff, and it's like, and even when you're explaining to yourself, you're going over like how horrible it is. Like you want to make me feel bad about eating meat.
So the reason I sent you that is because that guy articulates some points very well. That's Gary Yerfesky. He's actually local to me, and I'm sending out a letter, since the only official way to get into contact with him is via mail, to see if I can interview him in person. He is perhaps the most prolific vegan activist that ever lived. He's banned in like 6 countries. So I wanted to send you that because I wanted you to see an example of what somebody whose job it actually was to go around and spread the ideas. He doesn't sell books or like documentaries or anything. He does that because that's what he believes in.
Mm-hmm. See, I've already got.
And that's what somebody who's a hardcore vegan actually thinks.
Everything. I've already got condescending comments in my chat. Oh no, this
towards
person.
Me?
No, towards me. Oh no, this person wants to make me feel bad about doing something they think is hard and cruel.
So. I don't like that stuff. Like those guys that you were talking to, I agree. They were just trying to dunk on you. They weren't trying to show you which ideas that you have already align with veganism, which is the best possible thing that you can do is show people where their compassion is at should align.
Yeah, there's like 2 different breeds. There's the people that are actually like tears in their eyes, passionate about what they're saying. And then there's people that it's just like, it is the... Like as far as logic and philosophy and like reason, it's incredibly consistent, and you can dunk on anybody, so you can feel superior at all times. And
I think I'm somewhere in between. Because I'm not going to tear up when I'm talking to you, okay? But I do think that the things that I feel are really consistent, but if I wanted to do the consistent thing, I'd do the name the trait thing. And it's the dumbest fucking thing I've ever seen, because you're never going to connect with somebody emotionally. I think in order to talk to somebody about veganism at a personal level, you have to connect with them emotionally about the subject. I'm not going to get you to go, okay, well, tell me how an animal is different than a person, and then keep on locking you down to where you can't. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I hate it when people do that. It's a way to win an argument and not resonate with the person. It's really fucking stupid.
Yeah.
I talked to Kilo about good approaches to talking to people about veganism. So I think what the people that you talked to did was showed out all of your audience how fucking stupid some people are, and they happen to be wearing like a "I'm vegan" label on them when they did it. And I think that's terrible. If you actually care about veganism, you can't do that. Well, you don't do that. You come in and you talk about...
I don't think that conversation was about veganism. I think it was just about winning. It
was about them trying to clown on you.
One of those guys came in and he was saying the opposite of what he think. I don't even know what they think. So I just... If I'm gonna,
it's a psyop. It's anti-vegan psyop, is what that was.
If I'm gonna be honest and talk about how I feel, and someone else is not, then it's well, this is awkward because this is we're doing 2 different things here, and I feel like I'm put in a bad situation. Okay, so
yeah, I thought you should have left sooner. I was like, man, this is dog shit how they're behaving right now. It was very smart to leave. I think that it's insane if you would have stayed there, it would have made you look worse just for staying, I think. At least you showed that you respect yourself enough to not deal with that bullshit.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. That's the thing that I think a lot of streamers so streamers have an issue where they're a multi-pronged issue. They're afraid to set boundaries because their boundaries can be trampled over, and they're afraid to stand by their boundaries. So if you set a boundary and you say, like, I don't like how this conversation is going, I want to like tell you what I think and I want to know what you think, but I don't want to like play this like this game where we're dunking on each other and shit. If you set a boundary like that, then that can be used against you because you're a pussy because you're setting a boundary, and then leaving can make you look bad. And also leaving takes away because you have an incentive to do a stream. Like, so leaving is like your lower, like it's like you're devaluing your product. But so there's like an emotional blackmail. I feel a lot of streamers are really bad with boundaries, and they learn to be bad with boundaries. So
I agree. Somebody asked who you debated. I know Bunk was one of them. Who was the other one?
I don't remember. I'm not interested in bringing up names and shit. It's whatever.
Okay. Well, I asked because Chad asked. So one of the things that you said that said, okay, I guess I actually do want to talk to Smith about this. You said, if it came to a vote, you would vote to end factory farming.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Yeah. Okay, so originally in that conversation, we had like a list of topics, and they all kind of sort of fit together into the veganism thing. But I didn't really even know veganism was the main topic, but I think it fit. But one thing I was going into it thinking about is ethical consumerism. I'm against ethical consumerism as like a way to as a praxis, as a way to make change in the world. I don't think it works. I think it's always failed. It's never, and even populism, since like populism can go all the way back to the French Revolution, and ever since it's reared its ugly head. I mean, I was a Bernie Sanders like canvasser and everything, but ever since populism has reared its ugly head, it's never produced the results that it sought. Like that, it's like the French Revolution was a disaster. You know what I mean? Like, and it's always been a disaster. And like small things.
Yeah, I'm pretty anti-populism.
Small things happen with populism, but they have to be in the interests of money too. So like gay marriage, that was a populist movement for gay marriage, but also there's no drawback to people in power. It's just there's nothing you're actually fighting against. You're just fighting against it's pure thoughts and ideas you're fighting against. There's no actual power. You know, it's just, oh, well, who fucking cares? Like, I'm sure people that are homophobic...
Yeah, you don't benefit from oppressing gay people.
Right, exactly. You don't. So in that, if there's no power behind, like, oppression, then populism can work. But in this case, I don't think it'll work. And so I don't want to hold myself to these standards where I have to make all these personal sacrifices. Like for instance, with the copyright conversation, I agree that having like the fair use and the React commentary shit, I believe that if somebody reacts to your videos, you will get a benefit. I believe that that's the way it works. I also think that it is theft, but I wouldn't tell people not to react to my videos because it would only hurt me. I would want to change the system from the top down, not the bottom up. So that's how I feel about these things. I don't want to change. I don't think I can change, and I don't think it would be meaningful or make my life any better to change myself. I would top down change is how I roll, how I think works.
I mean, I'd love to see top down changes and all the things that I care about, but some of them I can't make happen. So I'll explain to you why I'm vegan and what I think, and then I can try to relate it to you. And if you have any issues or questions, you can tell me what you have with that. Does that make sense? Is that good?
Yeah.
So for me, I think that most people, including myself, in the back of my head, I kind of always knew like this is wrong. Like I think it's wrong that something shouldn't have to die and be tortured for my pleasure, but it gets so far pushed down in my brain, and it was for a really long time. And it wasn't until I spent time actually investigating the conditions that they live in and just the relative intelligence and understanding that some of these animals had, to where it started to like sink in more and more. And it was a lot harder for me to just like go, okay, well, I'm just not going to look. I don't care. I like doing what I do. I'm not going to have this change in my life. when I found out that pigs mourn the loss of their like siblings and best friends because they have best friends, that hit me really hard, and I was just like, Jesus Christ, I can't be the reason why like a pig is like crying because it misses its best friend or its mom. Like that's too much for me. I can't do that. Like my dinner isn't worth that. I can just eat something else, and then I don't have to know that I'm the reason why that's happening. I had no idea that the emotional intelligence was there for that to happen, and it really fucked me up.
Yeah, pigs are like, honestly, I don't care about chickens. I don't give a shit. But like pigs are like a lot more smart, so it's worse. It's a lot worse, I think.
It's really tough. So that was the first one that got me. And so that I just didn't eat pigs for like 3 or 4 months, and then one night I was gonna go to bed, and I was like, "There's this video, I'll put it on," and it was about like egg production, and I didn't think it was gonna like I'm just going to bed. It was just for sound, and when I found out like it's like chickens, they're not dumb, but they're not like super smart either. I found out for egg production that they're stuck in a cage where they can't like turn their bodies and stuff, and they're put together with like thousands of others. And if a chicken hears too many other chickens clucking, it makes them go insane. Like it actually like destroys their mental capacity in their nuts. And
Yeah, we don't
because
treat
of
them good. We don't treat them good. We don't treat them good. We got it.
well, to me, the levels at which we're not treating them good does matter. Like I care if when I see somebody, if they come over and like give me a little punch on the arm, I'm like, asshole.
It's not
But if
like
they come over and pinch and twist my nipple every time, I probably just don't ever want to be around them.
Well, it's not that like it's just I've watched the videos. I know like what it looks like and how horrible it is. But I mean, you're just telling me those same things
I'm just explaining to you my journey with it.
Okay.
And see if you had any questions, and then I was going to try to relate the idea, and then I was gonna talk to you about how you think about some of these things and try to bridge a gap.
Your journey is the same as everyone's journey. It's the same.
Is it?
I think so. Like you slowly become more demystified with our relationship to the food that we eat, and more horrified by the harm that we're causing to animals.
Sure. Well, I guess I think that the ways in which we get there are important because of how I see these conversations go. It's like somebody wants to talk to somebody and get them to admit that they're wrong and then change their life, and that's not how it works. I hate people that advocate for veganism when they do it this way more than I hate people that are arguing with them. Like I have much more sympathy for the person who's not a vegan talking to these people. Like I had way more sympathy for you and your conversation than I had for those people. And these people are doing something that I think, if they actually are vegan in their everyday life, is really good.
Except they're not doing it good.
But they're not. Their abdicating is dog shit. They're doing the opposite of abdicating for it, which drives me insane. So I also, when I talk about veganism, one of my main things that I advocate for is that if you're vegan, learn how to talk to people with respect and empathy, and don't just try to just try to tell them that they're wrong and they need to change their life. If that's something that you come to realize, that's something that you'll realize on your own. And I'm not going to be the brute force hammer that makes it happen. And if I thought that I could, if I thought that's how it worked, I would just try to talk people into it. But I don't think that's how it works. I don't think that something this big of a deal can possibly be changed in that way.
You know what? I have a lot of thoughts and feelings about this. But if we're gonna go, if it like in a world where I'm convinced to just go vegan, I would also I feel like I would be, before going vegan, I would want to set a soft limit on amount of babies you can have.
Sure, yeah,
like
that's fine.
I would do that before going vegan.
Okay. I don't necessarily have an issue with that.
That like the fact that we have these factory farms with like chickens that are treated like that, we wouldn't have to. I mean, you'd have to fight to make the factories less like strictly efficient, but I don't think we would have to do that if we had like a third of the people on the planet. You know, like it's just we could have very like way more like, you know, humane farming and shit.
I don't think that there is any kind of like. So I actually created a thought experiment, and I approached perspective philosophy with. I said, "This is my ethical vegan farm. It's not sustainable. Nobody would ever do it. But what you could do is you could have animals, and you could treat them with a good life, like you would treat like an outdoor house pet. And when they die, then you could eat them. But they would have to die of natural causes. And so
Okay,
one of the things that you said,
well, I'm saying
yeah,
my vision here is not even that they have to die of natural causes. It's just we don't torture them. Like they live
so
like
better's better.
yeah. Because honestly, and in that case, like I don't even care that much. Like I mean, if they were pigs, I'd care. But like chickens, like what we're doing is like horrible, and I don't like it at all. But like if we weren't like like making them insane and like having to put all these like things on their heads and like cutting off their beaks and shit like that, it was like you're just like a normal chicken. You got like plenty of room. It'd be like
Yeah.
they're not. They suffer.
I would love to see that too.
I don't think
I would love to see that.
I don't think the suffering of a chicken. I think the suffering of a pig is probably very close to the suffering of a human. I don't think the suffering of a chicken is nearly close. The suffering of a cow is confusing. I'm not sure.
It's when I stopped eating pigs, I really avoided trying to find out how smart cows were because I wasn't ready yet. I was like, look, I already gave up. Like, I'm fucking fat. I like to eat. I don't want to find out how bad the cheeseburgers. They're actually. So what I care more about than just like problem-solving intelligence, I care how emotionally intelligent they are. And I was really devastated when I found out. Yeah, when they have their calves taken away, the dairy cows, they cry for weeks and weeks.
Yeah, and then
their babies were taken away from them.
They show them the calves again to get them to lactate again when they need them to produce milk. So they just give them a peak.
Yeah, and that fucks them up too. And that was really hard to see. That's what I care about. I care about I do care about the physical suffering, but I care about your capacity for suffering. So the higher emotional intelligence you have, the greater your capacity for suffering is. And also, when it comes to suffering, the one thing that makes animal suffering in a lot of ways worse than what humans experience is that they have no way of knowing what's going on. Like when you see a horror movie and somebody gets kidnapped and they're down in like the torture cellar, the very first thing that they say to the assailant is, "Why are you doing this?" That's what we always want to know. Why is this happening to me? Even when people are experiencing like existential bad luck, like why is the universe punishing me? Why does God hate me? It's always this question of like, why am I in this situation? I just want to know.
How do you feel about this? This is a solution that I have. We stop factory farming everything except for chickens and cows, and those are now our bitch. Like those two species are now like they get it from us. They get the food slave treatment, but no other species.
No. So one of the things that you said during that is that nothing's vegan because animals die in production of everything. So the whole idea behind veganism, ethical veganism, is not that we will ensure that no animals ever die because of us. That's insane. It's impossible. But the idea behind it is that the minimization of oh my God, what's the word?
Suffering.
Exploitation of animals due to human consumption.
What isn't
so it's to reduce it.
I don't think that human can interact with an animal in a way that is not exploitative, unless they die and the animal eats them. Like,
you don't think a human can interact with an animal out of pure compassion?
I think if you build a relationship with an animal, the symbiosis there, there is a power differential, and you have way more power. And
sure, it's like having a child. When you have a pet, it's like having a child. So, you have the power over them because you are a greater authority and you have the capacity to protect them from things which they cannot comprehend.
Yeah, so in that way, it's always going to be exploitative.
Okay, when I say exploitation here, I mean in the much more traditional sense. Like when you're doing something that somebody's powerless over for your benefit. So if I benefit and you're losing out, that's the kind of exploitation I'm talking about. and the exploitation gets worse and worse. The more I'm getting, and the worse, the better I have it, and the worse you have it, the worse the exploitation is.
For
Like
me,
when I go to work, I'm being exploited, but it's
right.
not that bad. I get paid.
Yeah, for me, it'd be minimizing the suffering of animals. And for
Yeah,
me,
we're both saying the same thing. Yeah.
And for me, the calculation of suffering depends on their intelligence and the like extent. Like I don't think there's a lot of different types of fish, but I don't think a lot of fish suffer in much meaningful ways. Some do though. So that's not really a good. Like people will say that fish don't have, they don't have they don't have nervous systems to allow them to like feel pain and shit. That's probably true. That's probably true for a bunch of fish, but it's not. There's the spectrum of fish biology is very wide. So I think it's stupid. It's stupid when we say things about fish.
Yeah, they have in some ways it's just like structurally their pain systems are different than ours. And how their bodies react to it though is the same way as ours. Sure. So like they produce like opioids in their system just like we do to counteract pain. So it seems like something is happening that is awful that they need the same resolution for. And I think that like the kinds of exploitation that we would have over like our pets, I treat my dogs like they're my kids. I have a kid, I have dogs. I treat them in a similar way in that the things that I make them do that they don't want to do is because I know things that they just don't understand. And if they did what they wanted to do, it would result in really bad things for them. I have to protect them because it's my duty.
I think that I think that my relationship with my dog is like, I think we have to admit that our pets are slaves.
It's more closely than our children are our slaves then. And then in that case, there's a whole spectrum of slavery, in which case I really want to be on the end where pets and kids are and not where African Americans were early America.
Your kid is your slave and you're teaching it to be an adult and try to make it prepared to not be a slave. With a pet, you're never ever doing that, and you're just you expect it to live and be born and die a slave.
So what I'm doing with my pet,
if you were teaching your pet to be independent, you'd be teaching how to fight and shit, like how to hunt.
Right. But we have created a world that isn't just isn't safe for them anymore. That's why we call animals that we take off the streets rescues. Because when animals live on the streets, they are malnourished. They're usually harmed. They're not just subject to the cruelty of the wilds, which it's not the kinds of wilds these animals were.
We've created species
evolutionarily designed for.
Yeah, but we've created species that are no longer like going to survive in nature unless we help them.
Correct.
So
yeah, and I think that's wrong. So,
but I'm still gonna have pets.
Yeah, I'm okay with having pets. I'm okay with giving my dogs a really good life that dogs on the street would dream of.
Right, I think
my dog doesn't have to forage through garbage and get sick to eat.
I think I can have a pet that doesn't have suffering to, like, it doesn't, like, I think I can give a pet the level of suffering that a child has.
Yeah, I agree.
And I think that I'm okay with doing that to get the emotional and relationship and just intrigue benefits of having and connecting with an animal.
Yeah, I think so too. And if people who've never had like a pet they're close with, or particularly like a dog, might not understand the fact that dogs genuinely, like if you have a dog, your dog fucking loves you. You're its whole world. Your dog has a very similar, I think that the relationship that you have with your dog is similar to the one your dog has with you. They might even love us more.
Probably.
I've even said, I don't think a human can love a human being unconditionally, but you can love a pet unconditionally. Because there's nothing my dog could do. Like, my dog's never gonna like put out like a racist manifesto in a twit longer that shows me that they were never really the dog I thought they were, So like, you can't do anything to show me that it's not who I think that it is. I know who my dog is. If they bite somebody, what did you do to my dog?
Just in case you're listening, dog, that is my dog at any point in the future. If you put out a racist manifesto, I will still love you.
That's unconditional love. But a person that I love could do something that can make me change how I feel about them. Everybody that I know, they could take a certain course of actions that would change how I felt about them.
Mm-hmm.
And so the power differential which we have in animals is that we have agency to make choices and they don't. It's not like any animal could ever opt out or even make a deal with humans saying, okay, look, if you slaughter me, just save my babies. That never gets to happen. They can't do anything about the kind of suffering we're inflicting upon them. Even if you don't say, I don't care about animals at all, I care a lot about the fact that 1/3 of the landmass of the world is used for animal agriculture or agriculture to directly support animal agriculture.
Right.
I care about slaughterhouse workers who get, have you ever heard of PITS?
No.
It's like a form of PTSD that is generally only found in soldiers and police officers. It's from when you're the one doing the traumatic thing. It causes a mental disorder in you. And slaughterhouse workers are generally extremely uneducated and can't find work anywhere else. Tyson, like the chicken company, they make other stuff too. They have a guy whose job his whole job is to read forms to employees that don't know how to read because they have such a high volume of illiterate employees. So we take people who have very few choices and we force them to do these things. They have extremely high rates of drug abuse, domestic abuse, and severe mental illnesses outside of PITS. It really fucks up your head.
I can say a lot of things about a lot of industries, and I think that industries and factory production at all needs a lot more regulation and a lot more human rights and a lot more animal rights to be involved. I'll stop eating the meat if you put it on a bill and I can vote for it, and then we can make it so that the farms aren't able to do it. That's the only way that and also, I don't know. I don't know how I feel. Like, I don't, honestly, I think that I think it's fine to eat. Like, how would you feel about eating bugs?
I don't eat honey.
Okay, I think that's stupid. We can go on down this road.
So here's the thing. I'm a deontologist, right? If something's wrong to me, then I don't get to make excuses for why it's okay in this situation. I think that the unnecessary exploitation of animals is wrong.
I'm always playing with this piece of metal. I dropped it. Okay, sorry.
It's okay. I shuffle cards a lot when I'm streaming to keep my hands busy. I think that it's wrong to exploit animals no matter what, if it's unnecessary. So if there's a medicine that I need and the only way to get it is it's sourced from animals, I'll take the medicine. I don't have a choice. If it's me or somebody else, yeah, well, I'm going to defend my life. My highest priority is survival. So I have duties. I have duty to myself first and foremost, so that I can perform my other duties. I have a duty to my wife and kid. I have a duty to the community around me, and then I have a duty to the world at large. These duties are increased in severity as they extend out from me, but they are still present. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Would you?
And that's how I live my life.
Okay, honey.
Yeah.
I think that honey farming is good for bees and they like it, and it's good, happy, symbiotic, friendly, healthy relationship.
I used to think that, and then my buddy, who is the VP of digital marketing for PETA, explained to me why he doesn't eat honey. And I was like, all right, fine. That's a really good point. I don't like how I just don't like how they're treated. They put the bees on a rape rack and force impregnate them. That's what they're called, rape racks. And they forcefully impregnate them, and then a lot of bees are actually injured in honey production. It's really weird. Whenever I look at like how people talk about it, like when they're like doing a video about honey and stuff, it always seems a lot more glamorous and like good for the bees than it really is. But whenever it comes to food production, there's a lot of double speak that happens. Like organic means fuck all.
Right. I don't
free range doesn't mean shit.
I don't think that insects have the same relationship to sex that mammals do. And I don't think a rape rack, I don't think rape means the same thing to like an insect, at least from vast majority of insects.
Sure. for me, the principle that I adhere to is that the unnecessary exploitation of animals is wrong. And when I don't need it, like it seems bizarre to me to say that I want this, so I'm gonna take from you. Uh, I think the closest thing that I could equivocate it to is that somebody gets in trouble with the police, and then they get somebody else in worse trouble who didn't get in trouble, so that they can get out of trouble. Like, why are you taking from someone else to
So,
satisfy something within you?
well, I think that the relationship that bees have, I think that probably in bee
I'm gonna get some
farm,
water. You can keep talking. I'll be
okay,
right
can you
back.
hear me?
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think
I got you with me.
I think that if with honey farming, the amount that of harm that happens to bees is probably like less than like bees naturally have. They probably have I think honeybees that are farmed have better lives than honeybees that are not farmed.
I do think that as far as suffering goes, I am less concerned about insects. Like if I had to pick, I would say
I'm
that
not.
would be the one that I would give on.
I just I if we start doing insects to make meat and shit, I have no moral problems with it at all.
Um,
Insects
I
are
have
like
some, but like I always say, better's better.
they're like
I'm not a crazy person where I need everything to be exactly my way to see progress happening. Progress is progress. Better's better. So if somebody says they're vegan but they eat honey, I'm not saying shit to them. I'm just going to be really, really happy that
yeah,
they're not.
honey's a great example. So with factory, with industrial farm and agriculture and all that in general, there's going to be exploitation of animals in much worse ways than we do with honeybees, and I think
Yeah,
that like so I just think that honey is like I feel like vegans that don't eat honey are like they're so lost in the sauce because this is like one of like the most blissful symbiotic relationships. So let's say like the way we like removes like these slats or something, like it could be like slightly better, and like we could do it like a little bit less efficient, and then it wouldn't be like, or we could like I just don't think that there's a lot of bad that happens. So I feel like vegans don't want to make space for themselves as human beings in the world. And I don't think that you can be a living organism without having relationships with other living organisms where some of them get the shit end of the stick.
So what I can do, which is important to me, is I can actually save lives. You said that there's no measurable way, but I would say that I think it's measurable to me that around 200 animals per year, maybe more, because I'm fat. I be eating. So somewhere in the vicinity of 200 animals per year didn't have to die or get tortured to death, mutilated, raped. That didn't have to happen to 200. If I cared about like if I cared enough to rescue my dog, it's so easy for me to help 200 animals by simply just not eating them.
Someone in my chat said, "Kill one cow to feed a family for a few months, or kill a million insects to feed them for a week." How does that even make sense? I think that the suffering of insects is just like I don't think like I think you can kill I think you can torture them probably, but even then the torture of an insect is like so much less than the experience of a tortured chicken, and that's so much less than the experience of a tortured pig, and I just don't care about insects. And like and you could keep going passing the buck down the line and go towards like we literally holocaust like species of like parasites and shit. Like the Clinton Foundation did this. There's like these like things that like these worms that you have to pull out of people's arms and legs, like pull it out, and they're really really long, and like those no longer exist in some areas and stuff. I think they might they're a biblical like parasite. We've like eradicated them. We're happy about that, and I don't have a problem with that. I don't care. Like I think that we have to be a living species. We were going to have relationships like this with animals. I just think that factory farming is a really fucked up, and like especially with animals that are close to us and have similar social lives and similar emotional understandings of the world. If we I don't think we should be doing that. But I'm totally for killing and eating animals. I'm ready to get rid of pigs. I don't think we should kill and eat pigs.
That's good. Like I said, I always think better's better. I'll never. If you say that you decided to stop eating pigs, you will never see me go, okay, Smith, cow's next.
But you're defining better. You're just defining better as something that's worse for us.
I don't think it's worse for us. The health benefits of being vegan are pretty tremendous. The getting rid of cholesterol, so this is, I don't know why people even think this is contentious. We do not have, we're not designed to eat meat. The way that our intestines are herbivore intestines. The reason why we get so much cholesterol from our food is that our intestines are too long and they absorb cholesterol. Animals that that eat meat, they have short intestinal tracts, so they don't get that cholesterol issue. That's why you don't ever see what
about omnivores?
Carnivores with it. Yeah, we're not though.
We're not an omnivore.
The only thing that suggests that we're a predator species is our forward-facing eyes. We are not killing animals with our equipment. We're not killing other things. We have hunter-gatherer bodies. We have forward-facing eyes, and that's it. Our teeth are herbivore teeth.
I think that human beings are. I think that our teeth are very adaptable and work in a lot of different situations. And I think that our diets are adaptable and work a lot of different stations. And I think that we're omnivores.
I think if you compare us to omnivores, herbivores, or carnivores, our biology is going to suggest that we are herbivores.
I don't agree.
Which is why we have a lot of trouble with the foods we eat.
I think our biology suggests that we are designed to be able to adapt to a very, very wide range of different diets and different environments. And we further expand on that adaptation with our clothing or like creating tools. Like we don't have talons, we have guns.
Yeah, well, I'm talking about our biology, not what we're able to create.
We have a brain that makes a gun.
Okay, but that's a far cry from what we didn't evolve to make guns.
We evolved to make. Yes, we did.
I don't think so. I think that's just things that we figured out. That's not evolutionary biology.
Okay, well, I think it is. I think that evolving to use tools is evolutionary biology.
I'm not debating that we have evolved to a greater intelligence where we can use tools, but I don't think that our biology had any we didn't. The things about us that didn't evolve to make firearms, is what I'm saying.
We have opposable thumbs. God gave us opposable thumbs just so that we can shoot, just so that we can shoot things with guns. I mean, I'm saying it like hyperbolically, but really, we have opposable thumbs so that we can make knives to slit things open with.
The only thing that I'm trying to say here is that eating meat, dairy, and eggs does harm us. And when we have a plant-based diet that is much more in harmony with our system, it eliminates a lot of diseases. One of the number one killers of people is heart failure, which is caused by, most of the time, our food. By and large, it's caused by the food that we eat, and that food is always meat, dairy, and eggs that are causing this issue.
I think that...
I'm just saying that our biology is not in harmony with us doing these things.
I don't think that our biology is in harmony with any given food. Maybe bananas. Maybe bananas.
We actually genetically engineered bananas to be edible they are. They used to be shitty little things full of seeds. We chemically engineered them.
Yeah, I feel like any food, anything, any plant that we evolved symbiotically alongside, the distance between us and that is so far now that our bodies are not actually designed to eat anything specifically. It's just very opportunistic and ready to eat anything.
Yeah, I guess. Well, hey guys, I'm gonna restart my stream because YouTube's just dead. Okay, I restarted it. What I'm trying to say when I say this is that there are very specific problems for humans that come from consuming animals and animal products that isn't present when you're just consuming plants. And so like if like health and stuff is something of your concern, vegans I have like an average on average like a longer life and things like that. I just realized too, I'm kind of like doing this thing that I'm not trying to do here, which is where like I'm just debating you on vegan things. I think it's your attitude. You have like a smirky kind of attitude, and it's putting my brain into debate mode. And I really don't want to do that. It's tough for me when somebody challenges me to not like rise to the challenge.
Well, I think it's your attitude because you're like saying it's so important for you to tell me why you believe what you believe, but I don't care. Like
but I'm saying I've gotten off track. I'm not doing what I want to do.
What do you want to do?
I want to talk to you about the things that I think where you actually line up with it.
Okay.
So I apologize for going off on that. I'm going to try to stay in my lane here, so to speak. So like you said, you have a dog, right?
Mm-hmm.
So one thing that I don't ever do is try to say that like I think that animal lives are more important than human lives, which is something that people accuse vegans of a lot. But there's a lot of instances where we actually do care about animal suffering more than human suffering. Like if somebody like if you've seen somebody like punch a person, you probably assume there might be some justification for it that they have, even if it's wrong. But could you imagine if you just walked by and seen somebody punch a dog in the face? I think you'd feel a lot worse about that, would you not?
Yeah, because it's like a child, right?
Yeah, because the power differential there is insane. Like, what the fuck? Why would you punch a dog? So sometimes animal suffering is considered worse to us than human suffering.
I don't
like it's not always 1-to-1. I would say that it varies based on the circumstance.
Well, I don't think it's the animal suffering. It's more that we hate the human that hit them. So like we hate people that abuse people with less. Well, generally, I mean, sometimes we love them because we're retarded. But like we hate people that abuse people with less power. So if you're abusing a dog, like we hate you.
Yeah, and I think for me, the reason why it bothers me more is because it's the same reason why if I step on my dog's paw, I feel way worse than if I step on my wife's foot. My wife I'll be able to say, I'm sorry. She'll be like, that fucking sucked. But like, I understand you were just walking by me. You didn't mean to. My dog is like, you hurt me and you did it on purpose. You're supposed to love me. I'm like, fuck, I didn't mean to. And they don't understand that it's an accident. They can't possibly understand why you're making them suffer.
I don't think that's true. Specifically,
no, it is true. Dogs don't know the accidents happen. Dogs don't understand the idea of an accident.
I don't think that's true. I think that dogs I think so. You have a puppy, and you step on its paw, and then it's like, what? Why did you do that? Why did you hurt me? But I think that like I've had many adult dogs where you step on their paw and they look at you like, oh, you stepped on my paw. Like they know that I feel like dogs do understand accidents, and like a big part of that is like I don't think it's good to like I just like with a child with a dog. I don't think it's good to like coddle a dog in the same way you coddle a child where they make some stupid. So some people have dogs that cannot shit in the rain because they like if it's raining they'll be like, oh, I'm so sorry that it's so hard for you, and then they'll like take an umbrella out and like their dog like learns to like if it's raining like it's like I can't shit, but like you don't if you just bring your dog out and you're like, no, you gotta. Sorry, and then they learn
I have a
to
dog
do
that
it.
won't go out during the storm. But it was a rescue. Right. Whatever happened to her when she was younger, she won't go out there. But yeah, I have my dog that I raised from a puppy. The mistake that I made is that I was too good to her. And now she's like a spoiled princess. She's very bratty. If she wants to go, we have a patio that she goes on. If nobody wants to put her out there, she will huff and she'll start to paw at you and she'll do all these things. So I understood that I was a bit too good to her. So one of the things that I hold with all of my animals is that I'll take you outside when I'm ready to. You don't decide that I do. And like it's not like I don't take them when they have to go, but I'm not going to let them bully me around. I'm okay with this like level of power that I'm in over them.
I try to know when they actually have to go, so that I'm not like I'll know when I'm feeding and what your digestive cycle is if you're my dog. So
sure.
It makes it a little bit easier.
Usually if they remind me, I'll just wait until they stop pestering me, so that way they don't think that they can just harass me if they just want to go.
Right. Isn't that
I think
in
it's important they know
itself?
that you're the boss.
Yeah, but isn't that in itself abusive or
I don't think so. I think it's establishing our roles more clearly.
oh, like
If you don't let a dog know,
they need you to be a lead. Their dogs are not good at leading humans. Humans are good at leading dogs, so they need that.
right?
Um,
Well, it's the
they
same as if when I'm training one of my new dogs, if they're going for a walk, if they pull the leash, we just stop walking. And once they stop pulling it, then we'll continue to walk.
okay.
It's the same idea.
Chickens that are factory farmed.
Yeah.
If we took like babies of those chickens and we put them in the wild, do you think that they would survive at all? I think they'd probably just die.
No, so actually, my solution to that is probably pretty controversial.
Kill
I
them all?
think that we should I think we should soft genocide animals that can't live out there like that, that basically they can only live a life in a factory farm now. I think that it'd be good if we conserved some of them in like a place where we just sort of like honored their their like lineage or whatever. If we just had like a reservation for some cows and chickens or whatever. But if they can't survive in the world that we've created, I think we should soft genocide them by sterilizing them and not having them reproduce. Because I think it's cruel to let them keep on reproducing when there's no world for them to like have a real life in.
Well, what if we made animals that like it when we eat them?
I don't know. What if you genetically engineered a human that liked it when you raped it?
Right.
I don't know. I think that's a scientific, ethical thing, and I'm not sure how I would feel about that. I'd have to sit with that for a while.
Okay.
But
Well,
I would say that
here's the thing.
if you do that, then you also have to let people make rape zombies as well.
Well, no, I don't think they're the same because we're already
It would be
comfortable.
the same principle.
Yeah, but it's not the same because we're already comfortable living in a world without rape slaves. We try to like they do exist, but we want to eradicate rape slaves from the planet. But I think that we are also already comfortable living. We are not comfortable living in a rape slave world, but we are comfortable living in a meat slave world. So I think that
Well, I'm not.
I know you're not, but so if we are going to live in a meat slave world, would it be better for the animals to like it, or would it be better for them to hate it?
in your analogy, which is, to be honest, I have to create like a whole bunch of other weird like changes in like my understanding of the world to allow it to happen. Yeah, better is better. Like I even say too, like somebody that hunts their food to eat it, I think is still better than buying it from the store. I think it's better for the person though. I think that you taking the animal's life is better for you. I think that the cognitive dissonance that you have when you eat a steak and you don't see like the dead flesh of a cow and instead you see just food and that's all you
Okay.
think of it as,
Okay.
I think that's bad for you mentally.
Well, now we're
'Cause
at a total
cognitive
disagreement.
dissonance is bad for you.
No, I think that we're at an utter disagreement here. I think that I completely disagree with that.
You don't
I
think that cognitive dissonance is bad?
Okay, if you define cognitive dissonance, what is the word? If you just define that as
really
bad,
easy.
if you define that
No.
as bad, if you tautologically define it as bad, okay, and so anything that produces cognitive dissonance is therefore bad, then yes, that's bad. But I think that like, so for instance, like you putting your pet down, I've had to put pets down, and pets that like, so when I was little, I didn't bring him, and my dad brought my dog to get put down, and then my cognitive dissonance there and my distance from the act that, or the loss of the dog, was like way more healthy than the times that I've put dogs down and like held them while like watching the life leave their body. Those are traumatic experiences that I think will not make me better, and they're not good for me. I mean, like, just like life, like is eventually we're going to die and see lots of death, I think seeing death is bad for you.
Sure. I'm not saying that every bad thing that ever happens to you, you need to face right away. But held cognitive dissonance is extremely bad for your mental health. It is not an easy thing for your brain to hold two contradictory ideas at the same time. And it makes it do all kinds of weird logic things, and it's very fragile. And when it gets broken, it really mentally fucks the person that's experiencing it.
Yeah,
Like,
but
have you ever met an alcoholic who's told they're an alcoholic? They never go, "No, I'm not." That's never the response. They get very angry.
You're saying that I'm a murderous psychopathic meat eater who's being told that he's a murderous psychopath, and I'm like, no. But I
might have to roll back. I might have to roll back the tape on that one to check and see if that's what I said. I think I said cognitive dissonance is bad, and I used the easy to understand example that most people would be most familiar with. Holy fuck! But yes, I still agree. You're a murderous psychopath. No.
No, I mean you do.
I don't think that. I think that most people do not. I think that most people just genuinely don't consider these things, and I think that it is a matter of indoctrination.
Yeah, well, yeah,
like, if somebody.
But you're saying that the reason that you're saying that the definition then of a murderous psychopath is that I have to know that I'm a murderous psychopath. But I do know, like, regardless of if I know, like, you're saying that I've been indoctrinated to not know that I'm, like, hurting beings.
To not think about it, yeah, and to disassociate your food from what it is. And we do.
I don't think that is necessarily, like, actually necessarily harmful to you.
I have always had the understanding that cognitive dissonance is extremely bad for your mental health.
I think
I've never seen anything to suggest that it's good.
I think being a hypocrite,
it does impair your decision making. Yeah.
Yeah, being a hypocrite, like, makes you, like, stupid and people can dunk on you. But I'm a hypocrite about a lot of things. There's a lot of things I believe.
Dunk on you.
I know. But you're trying to convert me. But there are a lot of.
I'm not.
Okay, I'm arguing you and saying that you are, but I respect that you don't think you are, and I don't think you are like most people usually are. Like,
sure.
Okay. But
I am trying to plant seeds that maybe if you decide to water them, might grow into something.
Yeah. I think that I believe a lot of things intellectually that I don't feel emotionally. And I feel a lot of things emotionally that I don't believe intellectually. And there's dissonance there, like, constantly. And that's something I try to be aware of, and like, I don't think that I have to fix it. Like, just because I think I was talking to you when I said this. I love watching, and I referred to it as revenge porn, which is funny, but then I clarified. But I love watching like videos on Twitter or whatever, of, like, someone like really pushing their limits and, like, really violating someone and then just getting punched in the face, and, like, it's just, oh, I feel that. So part of me, like, enjoys that, and part of me is like, that's not acceptable. And I'm comfortable. Like, I don't feel like I have to, like, put it on the ironing board and smooth it out so that I feel consistently, like, the whole way. Like, I feel like I'm comfortable with having contradictions like that. It's important to me to do.
Sure. Yeah. And, like, for me, I really like watching when people are like the best example that I can give is if I'm watching Destiny is really mean to somebody and I'll laugh, but, like, I wouldn't do that. I don't condone it. But, like, I think it's funny sometimes when people are overly mean. Maybe it's because sometimes I wish I would be overly mean, but I'm not. But, like, I wouldn't condone it. I wouldn't suggest that people do it. I just think that there's a part of ourselves that enjoys the idea of, like, the other way of doing things. And I don't think that that's necessarily cognitive dissonance. Like, for instance, I'll watch porn about things I have no interest in doing whatsoever. But it's cool to watch it.
So you don't feel dissonance when your post nut clarity comes and you're like, what did I just jerk off
No,
to?
I think I have like a really good understanding of my sexuality. I've been
Right,
around long enough to like really think about it.
right.
No, I like watching porn that makes me feel uncomfortable. So like there's that.
Okay.
Like I wouldn't want to do a lot of these things, but like I watch it.
Well, I feel like that is definitionally cognitive dissonance. You're engaging in cognitive dissonance.
But I don't believe two things at the same time. I think that this is hot to watch, but not to do.
Yeah, but to watch it,
Oh, like perfect example. Like if you're actually like a cuck, you're watching somebody do something, uh, but like it's not that you don't like, you know what I mean? Like you can't do that. You can't be the observer and the participant at the same time to get that. That's just something they enjoy watching, but they may never want to do that to somebody else's wife.
I think that in your world where we have to iron out all cognitive dissonance, I can't eat meat, I can't look at porn, I cannot like watch YouTube, I can't like everything like there are bad things about everything. Porn, yeah,
I
a
didn't even
lot.
say that you
Like that
can't. I didn't even say you can't have cognitive dissonance. I just said it's better. Like if you actually
I
see,
don't
if you
think
hunting the animal and you see it get killed, I think that it's better for you.
I don't think it is. I think it's bad for you. I just think I think that this is something I guess I really completely deviate from vegans. I think it's bad for you to see the death of animals and the torture of animals. Like so like I think showing people factory farms and shit is like bad for them. And I don't think you're really doing anything good and
Well, if they believe that that stuff isn't happening, then I think it's good for them.
why?
Why?
Why is
Because they're
it good
making
for
a
them?
decision. Because you're
I
consuming
think
a
you
product without having
right.
informed consent about what you're doing.
So
I
okay,
You don't know what you're paying to have happen.
so it's not so it's so I think it's absolutely by every meaningful way in my mind bad for them, but you're saying it's good for them because it's better for their identity within a culture or their soul or something like special is like they are tainted from not understanding, and
It's a
if they
matter of
under
consent here. When you're purchasing something and you don't understand what your dollar is being spent on, like
okay
what that when you give over your money at the grocery store, if you don't know the kinds of torture that you're paying to have happen, then you're paying for something you're not consenting to have happen. And I think it's important that you know. It's
when
like
I
the
look at
atrocities of
porn
war.
when I look at porn
Uh-huh.
majority of the time I'm consenting to having something happen that I don't want to happen.
What's that?
The like rape and abuse of the people involved in the porn.
Well, it sounds like you're aware of it.
Okay, but I
Yeah.
don't want it to happen, and I'm consenting to it by doing it.
Yeah. Well, you
And
have informed
while I'm
consent then.
jerking off, sometimes I try not to think about that.
Sure. I don't think that
If I were to think about
I
it
think
every
the
time I
idea of
jerked off, it would ruin porn.
well, it doesn't ruin it for me. That's what I like about it, Smith. No, I'm just kidding.
Well,
But I
sometimes
think
it is.
that I think that if I was paying taxes and I had no idea that we spent any of my tax money to murder people, sometimes even innocent people, it would be a lot worse than if I knew about it. I'm still really mad about it, but I think I have the right to know about it. Don't
So
you?
is it unethical for you to pay your taxes because we fight wars?
Um, no, it's ethical for me because my first order of ethics is my duty to myself. I have to keep myself alive and safe
And
so that I can perform all my other duties.
and because of the
But
government,
I fucking hate it.
they're forcing you to.
Yeah, it's coercive as fuck. If I don't do it, they'll take me away.
Hmm.
They won't let me perform any of my duties.
You know what I was thinking?
I
About
really
saying?
am like a. Oh, go ahead.
No, continue.
I really am like a fanatic when it comes to my like moral system. I like a lot of people like to preach theirs, but I 100% live my life by what I think is correct, and I made all the rules up for myself. I don't
I
have like
don't.
a book. There's no Bible or anything. My rules are written by me because if I don't decide what's right and wrong ahead of time, I'm just going to be a slave to like my biological imperatives. Like if I didn't have the rule that says don't take a shit in the street, if I had to poop, I just pull down my pants and go, right? Because that's what my body wants me to do.
I don't feel that. I like. I mean, we're different people. I
The reason you don't do that is because you have a rule not to do it. You just
right.
don't think of it like a rule.
I think it's bad for you to see death. I think it's bad for me if I'm jerking off to porn to be thinking about how everybody in it is being abused. But if you were going to present me with a law to make factory farming like not shit or whatever, I would sign it. If you were to present me with something to fix porn or dramatically cut down on porn or whatever, then I would do that.
I would
'Cause
too. And this is what I mean. It does resonate with you. My main goal here is like I just don't think that you should eye roll and dismiss vegans and think of them in the kind of combative way that I think that you do.
No,
Because
I
I
think
think they
that they're
align with a lot
coming
of
at
your
it.
morals.
I think that they're coming at it from a personal way where they want to feel personally guilty and they want to hang themselves on a cross and they want to hang everyone around them on a cross. And I don't think that that's helpful. I think I'm like I don't I don't
I
think
just wanted
me
to do
not
better.
I don't think meat yeah sure, but I don't think me not eating meat will do anything.
It can save around 200 animals' lives a year. Um, that's what it does. That's what it does when I stopped eating animal products. It saves around 200 animals' lives per year. And I've never had a meal in my life where I thought that's so good I would go and take a life and torture it. Uh, and so it just became really hard for me to justify it.
Have you ever okay, so have you ever worked at like a grocery store? Or at least
I
seen the
worked at a
back
Walmart for a bit.
and you see
Yeah,
the
I
back
did work in the back of a Walmart for a little bit too. Yeah.
when you see them like getting rid of all the wasted food and they just throw it all away.
Yeah.
That to me is priority number 1. I don't think that any like personal decision I make about which food I consume is going to have much of an impact if we're living in a world where we have that much waste. So I don't and like maybe like they're super good about all of their purchases that nothing ever goes to waste or whatever, but like that is few and far between and I just don't care enough. I don't care.
They actually,
I don't care about my culpability by eating meat. I don't care.
yeah. So for me, I don't care what everybody else does. I still want to do what's right. Like if every, so like the idea here to me would be like, if I lived in the South, like today, if they re-legalized slavery in the South, and people are like, "Oh, so what? You're just not gonna have slaves? So like, because you fucking hate yourself, you want to go out and pay people or work in the field yourself?" Like, no, I just don't want to fucking do this to people. Okay, like I don't hate myself, but like I don't dismiss the suffering of these people enough to like do what you're doing. I understand that like everybody, like the vast majority of everybody else is gonna do it now that it's legal again, but I just don't fucking want to.
You know what? I might. I think it would be good to like raise your kids vegan.
I don't
Like,
enforce it on my kid.
really? I was just
They
thinking the
because they
opposite.
didn't.
I would rather raise my kids to be vegan than to be vegan myself.
I think that by not allowing them that agency, it'd be a very temporary thing, and all it would do is harm my kid by harming their relationship with me. And as soon as they were out of my sight, they would do whatever they wanted anyway. Now, if perhaps if it was a from birth thing, it might be a different
That's what
story.
I'm saying. That's
But
what I'm saying.
sure, but I didn't have my kid full time until like 2 years ago. Uh,
But,
I finally kind of made it clear that like either I get my kid or we're going to court, and it was like, okay, here.
well,
She didn't want that.
I'm not saying you're doing anything wrong as a parent. I'll be like, I mean, I'm not gonna say
It was
that.
it
It's
was
fucking. I'm just saying, like,
but my kid is exposed to vegan food all the time and has as many vegan options as one could want. So, in fact, my biggest way of trying to convert people is, do you want to try this? I just ask people if they want to try my food because the way I do that on the internet is go like, if you want to tell me that my food tastes bad, look at me. You got fucking man titties, okay? You don't get man titties by eating food that's gross. I eat food that's delicious, and that's why I'm still fat 2 years after being vegan. I'm telling you, I fucking be eating, buddy. I was fat before I was vegan because I ate food that tasted really good, and I'm fat now because I'm vegan and I still eat food that tastes good. It took a while to find all the things that I liked because it was like, all right, different menu now. So I tried things that were not good. Macaroni and cheese. It took me a while to find like the fire macaroni and cheese. And I would test these things by, having my non-vegan people around me try it. I'm like, oh shit. The first time I got a pizza that was like bomb as fuck, I asked my kid, I said, do you want some? And they looked at me. I was like, look, if you didn't see me eating it, you didn't know it was vegan. My kid rolled my eyes and then he took a bite and went, oh, it's out there. You just got to try. You got to work around to find it. But that's the one thing that I will debate anybody on as soon as they say like vegan food's just gross. Like, you're fucking gross. You're stupid. I fucking eat. I like eating.
Yeah.
Yes, lady?
Your kid also to this day says that vegan pizza is better than not.
True. Yeah, my roommate, heavier than me. He gets pizzas from there too. Dude, vegan pizza, if they do it right, bomb as fuck. If they don't do it right, it can be pretty shitty. But that's the same as pizza. I've had some nasty pizzas before.
I've got a
Chicago style.
I don't think this will work for most people, but for me, a good weight loss strategy is to give myself permission to be more picky. Like, cause I'll be eating shit, and then and when I'm losing weight, I'll be like, that's disgusting. Like, the shit I'm eating is like I don't know, like a Twinkie or whatever. Or like, it's like, this is gross. This is actually like if I let me just thinking about it more, yeah. Maybe a good weight loss strategy is to think about all the suffering the animals go through.
It helps. Honestly, the real reason that I'm as heavy as I am, I was losing all the weight, because I've just been really lazy lately. After I got COVID, I didn't start working out again. But I was down like 70 pounds when I was moving around and stuff and being vegan. But the weight loss thing, I think that most people don't think about what they're eating before. Right when I switched to being vegan and I had to look at what I was eating, I felt really liberated, because I would just like eat Taco Bell or like McDonald's, and I would be like, I don't want to eat fast food today, and then I'd end up eating fast food, and I just be like, I fucking hate this, and I'd be like eating it and be like, I fucking hate this.
Well,
why am I
Taco Bell
doing
doesn't
this?
have that much meat, right? It's only like it's only like 1% like meat, something like that, whatever.
Yeah, I just don't like the options that I have there now. But when I actually had to think about what I was eating and stuff, it was really, really, really freeing, because like I have to actually make a decision. I can't just be lazy and say fuck it. That was huge for me. That was probably the one thing in the difficult time where I was actually like, this is really cool. I'm actually going to eat things that are different, and I'm not going to fucking hate myself when I go to eat and be like, maybe I'm fucking eating the same thing I ate yesterday because I'm fucking stupid and I can't just make a decision.
Yeah.
So I think the best way to lose weight is just to invest in what you're actually eating, actually care about your meals.
Being conscientious will help a lot.
Yeah. And if you can feel good about doing it because you're vegan, all the better, I would say. But I mean, just if you care about your health and you're just being conscious about your diet, I think that's going to be not even like for dietary reasons, but if you're eating food, like you're doing something different because you want to do something different, and you care about your ingredients, I think that you will probably feel better and lose weight. Because a lot of things that we kind of autopilot eat is just trash. I still eat a lot of vegan shit that's trash. Oreos are vegan.
Yeah, a lot of vegan.
I burnt out on them year one. Yeah, and I don't fool myself. I had some jalapeno poppers last night. They're super hard to find, but we found them and they're fucking real good tasting. But I bet you they're garbage food that's going to give me diarrhea, and I'm still going to eat them because I like eating tasty food at the cost of myself.
I think a good warning flag for if your relationship to food is getting fucked up is if you start getting hemorrhoids.
Oh god! Oh my god! Before I switched, I had hemorrhoids all the time. I had the worst shits. I was just a miserable motherfucker if I went into the bathroom. And oh man, like I had IBS for like 6 years. I don't have any of those issues anymore. That was like a night and day change. Like a weekend, I was like, my life is just better now. Like I don't feel my stomach rumble and go, okay, I guess I'm gonna pray for death now.
Oh, I don't
It's been pretty
have that.
cool.
You can't convince me because I don't have IBS.
Well, I didn't say that you should. I'm just saying that was for me like a big night and day thing.
Well,
But I think that the real reasons that we should be
Okay.
vegan have nothing to do with any of those things. It has to do with like ending the suffering, reducing the amount of usable land space that it's taking up, which I misquoted earlier. It's a quarter of it. It's a quarter, not a third, I think. It's a quarter of the usable land space is being used for it. We produce more food for the animals that we eat than we produce for ourselves to eat, which is insane to me. Like, we're using up all this land to feed our food rather than to feed ourselves. Kind of fucking bonkers.
I wonder what the definition of usable land space even is.
I
Doesn't mean
I looked
anything.
on the map. It was pretty convincing. Like mountainous areas and stuff aren't like livable, usable land spaces. You can't like, I don't know.
Yeah, like
But,
so like so once you deforest an animal, once you deforest an area so that you can farm there, now it's usable land space. So like as we expand, there's always going to be a percentage that's always going to be used for agriculture and farming and all that.
Yeah, some amount of it will, but more of it is used for animal. I'm specifically talking about animal agriculture, which includes the animals themselves and the crops we grow to feed them. Also, the number 2 factor in greenhouse emissions is animal agriculture. It's not number 1, but it's number 2, so it's a biggie.
Yeah.
And the amount of suffering caused to humans that have to work in these industries is tremendous. There's even a guy who wrote a book about it. He went in undercover and worked, and he like basically took on every job at the slaughterhouse. And the people in there have to like, they all seem to like form cliques with each other and make like dark jokes to avoid like talking about what they're doing because it's so horrible for them. And I think that even if people don't go vegan, we should give a lot more shit about the people that have to work in slaughterhouses and how they're recruiting people to work in them. In the UK, nobody wants to do it, so they force prisoners to do it. It's that bad. That's usually my answer when somebody says, I don't care about animals, I care about people. I go, well, I bet you don't care about people either. I bet you only care about yourself. Tell me
Well,
how you
there's
feel about
easy
these slaughterhouse
solutions to
workers.
You could just make it more humane for the workers, give them more room to have more cognitive dissonance between what they're doing.
But I can't. All I can do
Make it
is
so that make it so that the gun that they have that shoots a bolt of lightning like into the spinal cord of the cow, make it so that it's like really long ranged or something, so that they can like stand really far back and give them like special little glasses so they don't really have to see anything or something, or just automate it, and then everybody will be like the mental health of everybody will be dramatically better. Everybody's cognitive dissonance will go way up.
I would be in favor of that. If I can't stop the factory farming, reduce the human suffering, then yeah.
But you want
I'm always for better is better. I'm not an all or nothing person.
But you want people to not have cognitive dissonance though, because you think that's harmful.
I think I would encourage people to not engage in it. I don't want to do anything to stop you from engaging in it, but I would suggest it. Like if I'm being asked for advice, I would say don't do this thing if you're not engaging with the reality of it.
Okay, cognitive dissonance. Okay, you have a dick, and I have a dick, but we're not thinking about dicks until I just said it. But
Sure.
but like so there's
I'm not
like,
holding two contradictory ideas at the same time. That's what cognitive dissonance is when you know something is true, but you actively convince yourself that it's not what it is. You're holding two contradictory ideas simultaneously. So like an alcoholic knows they're an alcoholic. They know it. They know it.
So this like,
but they tell themselves they're not.
Right. I think it's bad to repress your emotions and pretend that they don't exist.
Cognitive dissonance does that.
That's the bad thing about cognitive dissonance. I don't think it's bad to like if I don't think it's bad to I think it is bad to repress your emotions on behalf of logical consistency, and I think that removing
Oh.
cognitive dissonance will sometimes do that.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, your brain is logical. When something happens, your brain has to have a reason for it that fits within logic.
Not really.
It does.
No.
Like if you it does though. If you're walking down the street and you see a shoe, your brain comes up with a story for why that shoe is there. It gives you a possible scenario. It has to.
I don't think it has to. I mean, we do
It
it.
does. Yeah. That's just how the brain works. It has to. It makes things fit together because that's what keeps us alive.
If you don't care about the shoe, you're not going to spend any time thinking about it at all.
Right. I don't think that it's like a long process. I think your brain just automatically gives you a plausible scenario that's logical. Your brain isn't going to say that shoe fell out of a spaceship and that's why it's there. No, it's going to give you something that would align with logic. Like, oh, somebody's just lost their shoe. Somebody tossed their shoe out the window, or somebody was running and they lost their shoe. Something super simple, and you move on with your day. You don't really think about it, but your brain does engage with things logically.
I feel like you've tricked me, and but I don't agree. I don't think I think that we are like stupid and irrational all the time, and I think that
we
are
choose
not.
To be.
I don't think we. I think we choose to be the opposite. I think we choose to be rational.
So, you know, when people, you ever watch somebody walk somebody down like an epistemological chain on their own thoughts, and when they run into something that will make them not logical, they stop engaging with it? That's cognitive dissonance.
Sure.
Like, hey, why do you think this? Because of this. Okay, so how does that line up with this? And then if it's a contradiction, they'll just disengage. They don't usually go, oh, okay. Actually, it doesn't.
This is my solution to that. So your solution is they have to now change their beliefs so that they can stay consistent from one part to one other. No, in order to fix the cognitive dissonance, you can do that. Or my solution is you just bite the bullet and say, yeah, actually, I'm a hypocrite and I feel this way about this, even though I believe this. So even though I believe
that's fine.
So there's no cognitive dissonance if you're honest. And you're able to bite these, but we don't want to bite these bullets because we're so fixated on
being a hypocrite doesn't fix the thing that I'm talking about. I'm talking about there's just a thing inside of you this country. I'm not talking about appeasing the other person or winning an argument here.
Right.
I'm saying that the person person gets upset and disengages when they can't fix it inside themselves.
Because we don't want to admit it. Like so if you
it's more than just admitting. If they can't admit it, if they just refuse to, it's because there's a dissonance. If they don't want to lose to the other person, this can also happen. But if you run into something that makes you confront,
it's not that if they can't admit it, then there's a dissonance. It's not that if they can't admit it, it's because they have a dissonance. It's they have a dissonance because they can't admit it.
Because they can't. I guess this would probably amount to the same thing.
Right.
Yeah. So I just think that's not good for you. It makes you not be able to see the world clearly.
Right, I agree, but
and it may make you not be able to evaluate your own emotions clearly. Right. So I'm not saying anybody has to do this. I'm just saying it's better to.
I know. I think
I would suggest.
I think everybody needs to be comfortable being a hypocrite because we're all hypocrites.
Sure.
These people that want to debate philosophy and they go down these things, they have these little boners going on. They're just like, I fucking I'm so excited because I'm gonna make all these people look so stupid because everybody knows at the end of the day we're all fucking hypocrites about something.
Sure. When I give ought statements, like how things ought to be or what I ought to do, it doesn't mean I'm always going to be perfect and do it, but it means that when I didn't, I failed. That this is something that I need to work on myself to try to figure out how that I can do this better next time so that I don't fail by my own metrics. I don't think that my moral philosophy is how you should live your life. But I think that if you have certain values you might benefit that align with mine. You might benefit from taking certain actions that I have as well. I think that we live better lives with a better understanding of ourselves, and therefore better able to understand who we are and what we're seeking, and like which paths to take if we have a good understanding of ourselves and how we really feel about things.
Well, I
think it's good to clear up those dissonances.
No, you can't do that. You're wrong. Like, so I'm not disagreeing. I'm not telling you that you want me to change my beliefs. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you, I guess I'm sort of using that verbiage, but what I'm saying is the way you were describing clearing up cognitive dissonance is to change your beliefs or change your actions so that you don't have cognitive dissonance. Where what I'm saying is you're admitting that you are a hypocrite and that what you feel emotionally is different from what you actually believe is right or good, that you're actually a bad person. I think that's more important and does a lot more work than actually like, oh, well, I feel bad about this, so no, I need to change this. You're covering up something, and you're making it impossible to actually understand yourself when you do that.
So here's the thing. I think that that's fine. My problem is if somebody does something that they know is bad, and they're not admitting it to themselves, and instead they make up some bullshit reason that they don't really believe for why it's not bad. That's bad for you.
Yeah.
That's the cognitive dissonance. Just being a hypocrite? No, that just means you're not living up to your own standards. And I'm sure I don't have to give you shit for it. You'll give you shit for it because they're your standards.
I don't like I personally I don't I think that you can't.
Well, if you're chill with that, then that's fine. But the problem for the individual comes to when they make up excuses for why what they think is bad and them doing it isn't actually bad. If you can just say like, yeah, I did something that was wrong, that's good. I do that. If I do something that's hurtful, like in my marriage, I'd say like, I'm sorry, I know what I did was wrong. I don't try to say like it was okay that I called you a dumb cunt in front of company. It's like I was overly emotional. I own it. I'll say
something like I know that hurt you, and we need to figure out how to make that not happen again because I'm a person who does this. So like I need to do whatever I can to not do that. Maybe you can help me, but I don't want that to happen again. I don't like apologizing for that reason because it's too easy. Like it doesn't.
Yeah, if I apologize, it's because I'm not apologizing for shit that I'm not taking care of to not do again. I can accept an apology for something once, and after I hear it about that, I don't ever want to hear it again because it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Change.
Yeah. You don't want to hear the same
when
apology
I say
twice.
I even try to like I'll say I'm sorry because it's such a part of our vernacular. Like I'll say I'm sorry to strangers a lot, just to like be polite and stuff. But like if I'm apologizing to somebody, if I say I'm sorry, like I really apologize. Here's why I did this. Could you do this to help me not do this? And if not, then I can try to figure something else out. I'm usually if I feel bad enough to apologize, it's time to do some investigating internally. Here's what I need to do. If you can help me do this, that'd be great. If not, then I guess I got to figure some other shit out because I don't want to be the kind of person that does this.
Well, I'm just going to apologize every time I eat a bite of meat. I'll open up my DMs.
So you just want to make me more upset?
Every time I open up my every time I open up my fucking mouth and take a bite of meat, I'll open up my DMs at Drazi and I'll be like, I did it again. I'm sorry.
All right, Drazi, all right, Smith. So what can I do to help you not make that mistake anymore?
I'm not that
every
sorry.
Time you apologize for eating meat, you want me to send you a picture of my raw asshole?
Oh, God.
So that way you like, oh, I don't want to eat this meat because I'll have to apologize to Drazi and look at his asshole again. Is this burger worth it?
You'll make me start wanting to see your asshole because I want to eat the meat.
You accidentally open up your Twitter and see the picture of my asshole and your mouth starts watering.
Yeah.
Like, it's steak time. Have you Pavlovian trained to get hungry at the sight of my ass? Things I did not expect to say today.
They're sure to create some cognitive dissonance somewhere.
Imagine talking about that in therapy. Whenever I see this guy's asshole, it makes my mouth water because they're like, wait, what? The guy can explain it. Like, cancel my appointments for the rest of the day.
Yeah, I mean, like,
we got work to do.
Yeah.
But I think that because you would make the law means that you care about the suffering of the animals. Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like I don't like holding myself personally accountable for societal things. Like I don't I think that is I think that you have to pick your battles, and you only have so much energy in you to do this. And you can't do it with everything, because if you did that with everything, you would have to completely separate yourself from society entirely.
Yeah, I don't think that. So for one, being vegan doesn't take any energy from me because it's passive. I'm not doing something, and I'm not trying to make I'm not making a societal change. This is me taking accountability for my own actions and choosing to do the correct one over the one that I think is bad. I also think that the slaughter of billions of animals every year is the worst thing that we are doing on this planet. It is the amount of deaths is staggering. It's insane. And I think that I don't have any right to take part of it.
I think I do.
Have you ever heard that story? I've seen somebody talked about it on a stream. There's this society where everybody gets along really well and things flow super well. There's no crazy batshit political divide like we have.
You're gonna tell me something to try to change my mind.
No. This is just about this point about societal versus personal accountability, and this is how I think of it. When you walk into the town, and you're like, well, everybody gets along so well. This is crazy. How does your society function so well? They go, well, today's the day, so I guess you'll see. And they wheel out this person in a cart, and everybody, they just go up and they torture this person that's like in this cart in a cage. They throw stones at him. They poke him with sticks. They go up to the cage and they hit him and stuff. And they take out all their aggression on this one person. And they do this until eventually this person dies and they get a new person for it. And that's how we keep our society so good. It's your turn. Go hit them. Like, I'm not going to do that. Well, if I didn't hit them, it wouldn't stop everybody else from doing it. But I still don't want to fucking do it. I understand that this person is barely going to notice that I didn't go and spit in their face. But I'd notice it. It would be wrong to me. And I think that it would be...
I wouldn't do that.
But it would make no measurable difference. The thing that I have the biggest issue with is the idea that not doing, like, the idea that of not changing your behavior because it won't cause a broader change is crazy to me. I don't think I'd ever make any decision like that.
Well, no, it's not that it won't, like, so in that case, I would not be able to live myself with torturing the person. So it doesn't matter. I can live with myself eating meat. I've eaten meat for my whole life. And I think that I could live with myself killing with my bare hands every animal that I eat, and I would just do it. So have you been hunting or anything? No, but I've killed like fish. I've gone fishing.
Sure.
It's not the same, but
I thought about going hunting when I was younger.
I wouldn't want to hunt.
I can do it.
Some animals. I wouldn't want to hunt like really smart animals and stuff. No.
So it's basically just an issue of intelligence for you. How well can they understand their suffering?
Yeah,
and at a certain point, you no longer care.
Suffering actually is like more of an the more a creature experiences, the more suffering. Like, and there's different ways you can quantify that, and some things are iffy. So like, I don't know how that works with an octopus. So err on the side.
They're pretty smart.
Err on the side of caution. They're smart. as far as we can measure, but it doesn't. It's an
Yeah.
alien. It's an alien intelligence. It doesn't fucking make sense. Their brain is not like their arms have their brain in it. When an octopus can like learn how to open a jar to get the food, like it's not just like it like thought. It's like whole body thought about it while doing it. It's like a totally different type of intelligence. And
They're a vessel of intentionality.
I don't even know how experiential that is, but I would just err on the side of caution with that one.
So you would dead set be against eating chimpanzees then, right?
Yeah. Well, also fuck them, but
Okay.
also yeah, I would not want to eat a chimpanzee. They're like the worst.
Don't get me wrong. If
They're the
there was
worst
like a dog charging at me or my family and I had a gun to shoot him, I'd shoot him dead. I'm okay with defending myself. But it's the unnecessary suffering that I have an issue with. Like this never even needed to happen.
I would just if I was just this kind of animal, I would just walk around outside like picking up bugs and chewing them and swallowing them, and just like I would just do that. I would grab a squirrel. I would like.
I know
wring
what
its
eating
neck.
is, Smith.
I know, but I mean, I would just kill things and eat them, and like certain animals, I wouldn't want to do that with, and I think pigs are one. And you could maybe convince me about cows, but I don't care about chickens.
Fuck. I think that I think that the more you learn about it, the harder and harder it gets to justify it. I think that we shut ourselves in a box so that we don't have to know how terrible our actions are. 'Cause that's how it was for me.
I don't know. I don't think that the way that we farm chickens is acceptable. I don't think that putting them in the cage and shit like that, like it's obviously like if we were to do it in a way that I thought was acceptable, we would have way less chicken meat to eat because we would not be doing it to the same scale. So
will also become a lot more expensive.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So
yeah. And we genetically engineer them to like have more meat on their body than like their bones can fucking handle too, so they can't walk right and shit.
Yeah.
We've like went to sci-fi horror levels of fucking fucked upness with chickens.
But I just love eating them.
Dog, you would scantily see me go a day without eating a chicken patty or something. I get it. I know how it feels.
We could just make chickens. I think that make chickens our bitch. Just give rid of all the other like just chickens. Like you are the one in the cage that's gonna get torture for everyone else, and we can give them a special we can engineer a special gland for their brain so that they love it.
They love pain.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
I really do think that your heart's in the right place. I didn't want those people to fucking spoil like all these really well thought out, well reasoned ideas about veganism to amount to what these fucking assholes said. And I swear, if they're vegans, they are actually bad fucking people. If they recognize the murder, torture, and mutilation of animals as something truly bad, and that's how they behaved, they are fucked up people by their own standards for behaving that way when talking about it.
I don't think that. I just think that they're
using the suffering of innocent beings for your own gain to make you look good is fucked up. Like if I wanted to talk to you about like rape being a problem in some country, and all I did was use it to try to make you look stupid, I'm a fucking piece of shit. If I didn't talk about the issues,
I use it to make my mouth feel good.
Yeah, well, I understand. It's still unnecessary, and you can still get good mouth feelings from other places. My duty when I talk about veganism is to do my very best to connect with the person that I'm talking to about it, to see where they're at and try to show them which things they do that will resonate with them. My job is to not make you look stupid. My job is to not trap you in a fucking logical like puzzle that you can't figure your way out of and go, see, yeah, you're wrong. So you shouldn't eat animals. That doesn't work. That's not effective. And it's bad for you. I have no interest in doing any of those things. Another
thing that would happen if we made I like this kind of solution with a lot of things, but if we made factory farming as it is now illegal, it would mean that everybody would band together to figure out good solutions that were like made everybody happy.
We're close. I read an article. A journalist ate a lab grown steak and their conclusion was it was a fucking steak. Like they were like
Yeah,
it was just
that's
like
not what
every
I
other
mean.
steak I've
That's
ever
not what
had.
that's not what I mean. Like sure, like people are doing shit like that, but I mean, as a society, like all McDonald's will have like this new things, and like all people will like know about like how to cook these things and stuff. Sure, the technologies exist, and that's part of it, but I just mean like we collectively will all like make changes that and like the iteration upon the changes will like happen so rapidly because everybody's invested that it will become like if we made in the society that we live in right now in the United States, if we made steak like illegal, like
Mhm.
there would be
You
black
bet them
market
lab
steak.
grown steaks to be coming out 2 weeks later.
They would be lab grown steaks and they'd suck maybe at first, but like maybe like theoretically, but like the period of time it would take for them to become delicious would be pretty short.
Yeah, and that's actually why they're not released yet. They're just trying to make sure that everything's great with when they release it flavor wise, because they don't want to come out and fail.
Yeah, they should.
They've went fucking crazy with it. When KFC released their Beyond Nuggets, and when you ripped them, it like tore apart like fibers, just like meat did. It was fucking bonkers. That was like the most impressive thing to me. I ripped one in half and watching it like the little strands break and stuff. I was like, holy fuck.
I feel like that's
They really nailed
condescending.
that.
Like if it's not meat, like I just care if it tastes good and feels good in my mouth. It doesn't have to actually look like meat. I'm not retarded, okay? Like that's how I feel.
See, do you know what it is? It's this right here. You can't stop smoking cigarettes. Well, here's a better alternative. And we're going to try to make it feel just as close as we can for you to make that transition easy. Because the goal would be to make people give up as little as possible, right?
Yeah.
When making a choice like that, and that's what they're doing, and that's why Beyond is such a successful company, and some of the other companies fucking tanked.
Yeah.
It's not all the same. I'll take Beyond Meat over Impossible Meat any fucking day of the week. It's not even fucking close.
All right.
Maybe make some spaghetti with Impossible Meat.
I think we've wrung all the juice out of this conversation.
I have one more question for you. Have you tried any of the vegan alternative things?
Yeah, I've had Beyond Meat and shit. It's good.
Do you have Beyond Jerky?
Nope. I'll try it.
You should check it out. It even gets stuck in my fucking teeth like real jerky does. Hurts my gums. Just the same. That's cool. I hope that when you talk to people in the future about veganism, you have
I'm not as good as you're saying I am. Like I'm evil.
I think your heart is in the right place. This is what I'm saying. I think that you have a lot of compassion, and I think that you're using it the way you're supposed to. You're not coming to the conclusion that I would like you to come to, but that's okay. I'm glad that people that don't agree with me have some care in it.
My compassion only goes so far, though. You know, like.
Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't have this conversation. You'd be teaming up with me to debate somebody else about veganism.
Yeah.
And so I'm glad that despite the fact that you're not vegan, you care about some of these things. And I'm glad that if it ever comes up to vote, that you would vote against your own interests.
Oh yeah,
to end factory farming.
Because if we did that, then we'd have great alternatives real fucking fast. And so it would solve problems. And I don't see any way that it would actually make like society or my life worse. It would make my life worse, like for like a month, you know? Or
yeah,
like 2 months,
yeah. That's it was about 2 months that I stopped like really, really craving pizza, and then I found a good pizza place.
But I don't want to be policing myself about. That's the thing. Like I want you, like I want the world to police it. Like I don't want to have to, because there's only so many things I can do that with. Or I can police all my consumer choices and stuff, and it's yeah.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is that if it wasn't for the vegans that came before me, I'd be fucking miserable as fuck. Veggie burgers suck dick. Beyond Meat. Banging.
I like some of those black bean burgers. It can be good.
I don't. Well, I hate black beans. Just make me what do I say? This tastes, when something's really good, I say this tastes like it was made with suffering. That's my little joke I like to say. This tastes like it was cooked with cruelty. That's how good it is. Well, cool. If you're ever interested in trying any of the stuff, I can let you know what the fat guy approved stuff is. Just shoot me a message.
Yeah, all right.
I appreciate you having this conversation with me.
Yeah, I think both of us, like, we are able to have. I mean, I don't know. I feel like I feel like I'll listen back and I'll feel like I sound like an asshole all the time. Um, but I feel like we're able to have pretty good conversations because we both stepped in the same piece of dog shit. We both have interacted with Mr. Girl and shit, and so
We've
now,
both been called a pedophile enough times by no virtue of our own actions
yeah.
that
So like,
we have we're brothers of the same war, you know?
yeah.
And we came home and nobody called us heroes.
Baptized by shit.
Yeah. You got anything going on in the future? Like, what are your future streams coming up?
I've got one about loneliness epidemic next week. It kept getting pushed back. I'm thinking about doing one about DID.
Ooh, do you think it's real?
It's complicated.
It is. I argued with somebody for 3 hours before they told me it was in the DSM, and I was like, oh, that's the best thing you could have said. Why didn't you tell me that in the first fucking 5 minutes? Are you kidding me?
I don't care what's in
and
the
it's
DSM.
Still complicated.
Yeah, I think it's usually not real, but I think it is real though.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot
of
bullshit.
I had to talk to my therapist about it because I respected them, and they told me that it was, and I was like, "Can I just ask you some questions so that I can rationalize it in my brain?" It feels like they're doing it for attention.
Yeah,
or something.
I mean, if I do this stream, I'll do like I think there are a lot of people doing it for attention. I've gone on Tinder dates with these people. They're like, you know, like, but like,
I matched but didn't go on the date.
But like,
I ask a lot of questions.
But I think there are different types of it. I think that some of it is like, yeah.
Yeah, I met one person that I believed them, and I took one opportunity they gave me to ask them questions, and it was a lot different than other people report. What do you got going on besides DID and male loneliness?
Not male. It was the loneliness.
Oh, epidemic, just loneliness.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. That's what I've just been seeing all these videos on.
Yeah. Well, this is just loneliness.
I think my brain auto completed. Well, that's cool. I'll be sure to check it out.
So women are lonely. And the solution is meth.
I thought you were gonna say it's Instagram.
Oh no. I don't know which one's gonna be worse.
The DID one. Holy shit.
No, I meant what's gonna be worse for curing your loneliness, meth or Instagram?
Oh. Well, when Smethstagram comes out, we're all fucked, I guess.
Yeah.
I thought of a good joke to tell my friend who has DID. I would say that I don't actually think that you have DID, and then I'm gonna name one of their alters and say, but I think they do. I thought that was like the best politically correct joke that you can lay on somebody with DID. Thought of it like 2 days ago.
Nice.
I'm excited to see them again. All right, man. I'll see you around, I'm sure.
Yeah, see you around.
Have a good night.
You too. Bye.
Bye.
Oh, I forgot to mention, I've got a video that I was exporting earlier, and it looks like it's done. So I just need to make like a thumbnail and then post it. But I gotta post it like a good time. Optimal time. So maybe tomorrow at like 11. Tomorrow's a Wednesday. It's probably fine. Drazi is always a pleaser. Yep. Okay. Have a good night. And I'm really excited to publish this video. It's going to be titled How to Center Yourself and Attract Women. And you will love it. Have a good night.